In the battle to claim credit for resolving the debt ceiling crisis, the Tea Party has been quick to proclaim victory. No new taxes was their mantra, and there are no new taxes. Indeed, for a relatively young and small political group, they've pretty much gotten their way since entering the Congress in November. Of course, not everyone is thrilled with the tactics used by Tea Party lawmakers during the debt ceiling crisis. Consider this from Maureen Dowd in today's New York Times, quote, "They were like cannibals, eating their own party leaders alive. They were like vampires, draining the country's reputation, credit rating and compassion. They were like zombies, relentlessly and mindlessly coming back again and again to assault their unnerved victims, Boehner and President Obama. They were like the metallic beasts in Alien, flashing mouths of teeth inside other mouths of teeth, bursting out of Boehner's stomach every time he came to a bouquet of microphones." She certainly paints a picture, and it's not that pretty. Dr. Stanton Peele is a psychologist whose specialty is addiction, and he's the author of 7 Tools to Beat Addiction. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Martin.
Can I ask you a question? What is the effect of giving people their way all of the time? How does it shape our thinking behaviour if by being adamant and dogmatic we get our way?
Well, the way I think about it is they're pursuing goals that can't be achieved. It's sort of like a child who has some kind of fantasy, and they keep asking you to give them things to acquire that, but it's impossible to arrive at the goal that they want. The idyllic past that they're pursuing probably never existed, and it's certainly not something that we can reach right now.
So you're saying that they're delusional about the past and adamant about the future?
They're adamant about achieving something that's unachievable, which reminds us of a couple of things. It reminds us of delusion and psychosis. It reminds us of addiction, because addicts are seeking something that they can't have. They want a state of happiness or of nirvana that can't be achieved except through an artificial substance. And it reminds us also of the Norway situation, because when people are thwarted, when a child is thwarted in attaining something that can't be had, they often strike out. And I think Norway is one example of one kind of reaction to that kind of a frustration.
But going back to the Tea Party in this country, do you think that having achieved their goal, no new taxes, instead of this actually making them think about compromise in the future, it's actually simply going to harden them? So this kind of battle, this kind of standoff, this kind of face-off, it's just going to become routine in Washington.
Well, I'm looking one goal beyond. They want no new taxes because they seek some kind of idyllic past. No new taxes won't bring that. It won't bring economic recovery. So then they'll have to turn their attention to some other supposed method for attaining that. Until they go through all of them, perhaps they can push through all of them. Perhaps people will become discontented. Perhaps they'll become discontented. And then I think people are likely to get riled up, and it could become a very angry movement, could potentially become a violent movement.
And what about those who oppose this angry group? I mean, do you worry that eventually the people who have been whacked will whack back?
I think right now they're mystified. They're thinking, how did they succeed? It's like when you look at a child who throws a tantrum. How did they get to win this when it makes no sense what they're looking for? And we're operating at a symbolic level here, and they control the symbolism now until at some point there's some dramatic, horrible clash between all of this symbolism and what really we have to face and what is in our hands.
Symbolic maybe, but also literal over the last few months. Dr. Stanton Peele, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure, Martin.